Hey guys, how you doing? This is Paul Turner with Retiring a Year Revolution podcast with my business partner, Eric Green. Hello, Eric.
What's up? How we doing?
And one of the reasons I work with Eric Green is because Eric knows everybody in the industry, but just the cool people. And one of those cool people is Mr. Mike Beal, who I've had the pleasure of doing a couple of things with in the past before via Eric. But it's a long time since we've spoken, Mike. Yeah?
It's been a minute. Good to see you again, bud.
So if anybody wants some fun, go back and look for old videos, because that's what we've been doing this afternoon. When Mike had a computer that was about 2 inches thick, that was state of the art, no doubt, at the time, and a stack of writable DVDs. I even forgot what they were.
Dude, that was back when I was on a PC before I went over to Mac.
Wow, cool. So listen, Mike's a fantastic producer. He's a multiple seven-figure earner, I believe. He does incredible stuff. We're respectful of his time. He's got stuff cooking. Okay, so we're going to dial into it. So I'm going to hand it over to Eric. Eric knows Mike a lot better than me. I think Eric's got some stuff mapped out to ask you, Mike. So prepare to be grilled. And I've got some stuff for you. It'll be good.
All right, hopefully I can deliver.
We'll see.
Hey, absolutely, guys. Eric here. Listen, you guys that are watching this, if you're just listening, I'm sitting at the coffee shop where I live, and Paul's convinced I don't have a house. But guys,
He doesn't.
I do have a home, a place I can go lay my head. I just hate being there. So I'm a coffee shop marketer. That's what we do. I love that. I'm on the road. I'm moving around. And you guys, if you are watching this on video, you get to see their cool backgrounds. But if you hear any noise, I'm just prepping you guys now. But we have my good buddy here, Mike Beal. No, Mike, but probably been over 10 years, Mike, I would imagine. I met you pretty early on in my career. I think you had been online for maybe a couple of years before me, because you've been on for quite a while, maybe 14, 15 years. That sound right?
I started full-time around, 2007. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, I was going to say, so, and that's when I was just coming online around 2007 towards 2008. So we met pretty early on in my career. So I've seen Mike. I've seen Mike when he just first got started, and I've seen him climb the ladder in this industry, and probably one of my most successful friends in the industry, marketers. I mean, for what you did and where you started and where you ultimately went to. But one of the things we want to talk about today, I just want people to kind of hear a little bit about your background, the way you grew up, what brought you to the online space, what motivated you, because I know I'm pretty sure you didn't have success overnight. So what motivated you to get involved, what motivated you to keep going, and why you're here today?
How far do you want me to go back? Just how I grew up, and just so people can kind of see
I think your story, I know a little bit of it, the way you grew up. And I think it's important for people to hear, because, Paul is a practitioner in NLP, which is, mindset stuff. And a lot of the way we grow up, a lot of the things that we experience growing up affects, who we become later and the choices we make. And especially when you're trying to branch out of, regular everyday life and a job and all these things to become an entrepreneur and to pursue things that maybe we didn't see as kids. And
right.
I just think, give them it all, man.
Okay. I'll start early. I grew up, we weren't very wealthy. I grew up, I don't want to say we were poor, but we didn't have a lot of money, but we were loved. I was raised by a single mom. We grew up in a trailer home, mobile home. My dad left when I don't even remember my dad in my life. So there was always a void there. And everything. And I got really close to my mom. Is probably one of the hardest working woman that I know, because she was telling me stories of her childhood, and she had to quit school when she was in 8th grade to take care of her siblings. And while grandma was at work, and then she would take care of her brothers and sisters. And when grandma got home, she would go in and do dishes at a local restaurant to help provide for, the family. So she really didn't have a childhood, and she, I always watched her, and it's always instilled in me the hard work. She got up every day to provide for us, knowing I had no father and everything like that. And while she was working through the day, I got really close with my grandma, and she was like my mom. And then I'll try to keep this very short, and it might get a little emotional for me because it is. She became like the mom to me. Here it goes. We were very close, and she ended up passing away when I was around 10. And then knowing my dad left me, and then my grandma left me, I was like, man, everyone I get close to, it always put a wall up in front of me. So fast forward a little bit, I just, it took a while for me to really let people in and to really put myself out there. Then fast forward to school and everything. I found my way in sports where I belonged. That team atmosphere, I excelled in that because you don't win championships. It's not a like individual sport. My sport was basketball. We didn't have football, believe it or not, in my small town. I excelled in basketball, and I loved surrounding myself with other team members because I could rely on them that they were better in certain areas that I wasn't. And then, I became very, very good in basketball, went off to college, did very well in college in sports. And then I went into sports medicine, and then I didn't finish school, and I decided that college and education at the point wasn't right for me. It wasn't in my wheelhouse because I wanted to be in control of my own life. I wasn't wired that way for some reason. I wanted to be in control of my destiny. I didn't want someone to tell me my hours, what I could and couldn't do, and everything. So I set out and I started my own construction business because I grew up doing construction in high school with my friends following the summers and all that stuff. So my brother and I created a flooring company. We did custom tile work and hardwood flooring. And then we went on. I got away from that because I'm a fairly taller guy, and being on my knees, it took its toll on me. So I really went to school and got my OSHA degree and everything, become a safety rep for a huge oil company at Houston, Texas. And this is where it all started actually, let me rewind a little bit. When I was in high school, I got introduced to MLM, direct sales, multi-level marketing, whatever you want to call it. I got duped in to go into a hotel meeting, and it turned out to be Amway. And I thought, oh man, I thought the greatest thing, they had you in this meeting room, in this hotel room. They got you all hyped up, all excited. I'm a young kid. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can do that. Not knowing how difficult it is if you're not trained right or, presented the correct way or taught really how to do it. So that was my first introduction to direct sales. So when we started our flooring business, like I said, my knees and everything started hurting really bad because I was always on the ground doing tile work and all that stuff. So I got my OSHA degree and become a safety rep on an oil company out of Houston, Texas, where we installed all the big supply lines of oil, crude oil and all that stuff. And we traveled a lot. I oversaw a lot of, we call it the spread on the construction site of different crews. They had certain jobs, clearing the land, surveying the land, digging the ditches, putting the pipe in, covering all this stuff. I did that for a while. And it's really tough, guys, if you guys understand. And it's one of the toughest jobs if you have a relationship or if you have a family, because you're on the road, months in, months out. I was on the road 9 months out of the year. And 2004, when my son Dylan was born, it took its toll on me because I literally listened to him change on the phone. I'd see him, see pictures, and it was just hard not having a father and watching me be away. And I didn't want to be that father to him. So I had to decide, what can I do to make a living and be home with my family? And I got introduced back into direct sales, affiliate marketing at the time, around Frank Kern, Mike Dillard, Mike Fulsame. If you guys understand, or if you know them, you can look them up. But I didn't want to reinvent the wheel. I wanted to invest in myself. Because I learned at an early age, like the more you invest in yourself, the more valuable you become to other people. And you can write your own paycheck. You don't have to rely on other people if you just invest in yourself and constantly be evolving and learning and everything. And that's what I did. I didn't want to try to recreate the wheel per se. I just what they said, I just dug in and implemented it. I just didn't read the books, take the courses. You know, you can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you don't implement that, you're not going to see any change or see anything in your life. So that's what I did. And that started my whole career. And then going back on the sports, that's when MLM came around. I started excelling in, you know, online marketing at the early age on everything with affiliate marketing. And then once I got introduced to network marketing, MLM, that's when the team atmosphere came into play. I'm like, wow, this is kind of hitting home, because I think most people, when it comes to our industry, depends on what industry you're in that's listening to this. But I can tell you this, people want to make money, of course, that's why they start a business. But I can also tell you this, people want to be a part of something as well. All right. They want to be a part of something bigger and just like contribute and everything. And that's what I saw through my years. And I'd like to say that I had success right at the beginning with MLM. I didn't. I learned from my failures, and you know, that's another key thing. And it's not, I mean, it's common sense, guys. You know, you have to learn from your failures. I think that's the biggest lesson that everyone has to do: fail, and fail often, right? Because that teaches you what not to do, and it's a life lesson when it comes to our industry. And through the years of meeting people like Eric, yourself, Paul, and other people, I can tell you that some of my closest friends and the people I talk to on a daily basis is people that want to change their life, people that want better for themselves, that don't want to sit back and just exist, if that makes sense. And they say, I can tell what a person by the 5 people they surround themselves with. I surround myself with successful people, the people that want to make a difference in their life, and not just the typical people that want to party on the weekends and just wait for the weekends. All right, why don't you? I look forward to Mondays so I can keep working. But ultimately, guys, you know, I learned from those failures, and then I started having success. And then, you know, some companies do certain things that hurt the field, greediness sets in, and then all your hard work as reps go down the wayside, and you have to start all over. So did that, and then had some massive success after that, because I know what to look for now in the company and the products and how to create the culture, because that's ultimately in direct sales, you want to be a part of something with amazing culture, because that dictates a lot of the actions that people take. But that's kind of trying to keep it very short, Eric, like a lot condensed right there. So sorry if it didn't make sense or if I was all over the place, but I don't
No,
Perfect.
no, it's perfect. And Paul, if you've got something to jump in and say, I've got another question, but I
will do. No, I've got stuff written down that I got fallback if we need to, but you go. I know you got stuff. I got something to the end.
Yeah, I want you to hit him hard at the end, man. We'll come up. You're Mike Tyson at the end with the uppercut, man.
Oh no,
he doesn't know. He doesn't know what's coming.
Hey, listen, Mike. Here's the thing, man. So here, you know, obviously we all started that direct sales thing early on. We went to hotel meetings. You know, we stocked people in the grocery store. I remember those sizzle cards we used to tape to ATM machines, the whole deal, right?
Yes,
So
yeah, all that, yeah.
all that. We've done it, man. We've done it. All of us have done it. But when you got online, you started affiliate marketing. That interests me, because that kind of puts you into the world of marketing a little bit. So I know you were kind of an early adopter, you know, early on when we were trying to leverage the internet and talking about sales funnels and all these things to, you know, to build our businesses and network marketing. You know, now it's even all the big time players and gurus are like, oh, if you're not on social media, you're crazy. If you're not doing this stuff, you're crazy. But back when we were trying to do it, I remember them saying, don't listen to those guys. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. You know, they were still doing a lot of the traditional stuff. And would you talk a little bit about that? Talk a little bit about how you've dove into technology, how sales funnels and technology and leveraging the internet completely changed the game for you, because you've built some massive teams, dude. And I know that was a big part of it.
Yeah, well, early on, I mean, it was through Mike Filsame and Mike Dillard, black belt marketing, black belt recruiting, or something like that. I can't remember what it was back in, gosh, that was like 2008, 2009. But I started doing videos, recorded videos, and then we were just talking before this presentation or this call here, and looking back at some of the early videos that I was doing, I cringe watching some of those. But here's the thing, guys, people don't get started. They're afraid what other people are going to think. What, oh my gosh, I'm going to mess up. You know what? Do it. Who cares? All right. Because no one is a polished speaker. And I can tell you this one word of advice. My strength is my vulnerability. All right. I'm not perfect in what I do. If you are, people know that they can't do what you're doing. Okay. Be vulnerable, be relatable. And I think that's what I learned on an early age, Eric. When I started doing videos, I related to people. I didn't try to come up with a story that wasn't true or trying to be flashy or lie or mislead people. I was very real. And I think the best thing that you can be is yourself. Be uniquely yourself, and you will attract the right people. And with the internet and all that stuff, when it comes to sales and all that stuff, if you do it the right way, people are going to be raising their hand coming to you for the opportunity, the product, the service that you provide. And that's ultimately where you want to spend your time, so you're not spinning your wheels. You want to find that lead source or that resource that's going to provide you with those clients or those people that's saying, hey, I'm interested in what you have. And when we get to sales funnels, they're just a tool to help you, build that relation with and create the sales. Do they do the work for you? Yes, to some extent, but ultimately you still have to be in the trenches with it a little bit from my career in my industry. But I started with videos, Eric. And so
how important do you think it is to do video, Mike? I've built my whole business on video. I know Eric started on doing little stupid YouTube videos from his car because he doesn't have a home. So how important do you think video is?
Oh, massively important, because people get to see who you are, your character, your personality, because people it makes it more warm. It's not like a cold approach. They feel like they know you the more that they watch you. And here's the key thing too, guys, always provide value. When you're in your industry, your niche, don't try to think of something, hey, I'm going to try to create this to make some money off of somebody real fast. Always be creating good content so they're following you and they know who you are, and you become more of an expert in that industry. But Paul, it's very crucial because you get to show your personality, who you are, and it warms the prospect or the clients up to you. You're more of a friend or somebody they know at that point.
And that's where it ties in with the sales funnel, right? Because the sales funnel is quite impersonal. Yeah.
Absolutely, because if you can hit people's like their pain points in the videos and everything, they see your personality, who you are, and you feel trustworthy, they're willing to go further through the process of the sales funnel, and it makes it easier for you, right? And then by the time they get through, they're already almost made their decision up on that product or service, and then your job's a lot easier at that point.
Cool.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike, I'm gonna kind of open the door here for Paul.
Oh, no, am I ready? Let me get my gloves on here.
So here's the thing, man. I want to talk a little bit about, we have a lot of students, we have people that come to us and they want to learn marketing, and you've taught a lot of people how to market, and, they want to learn all these cool things, how to build sales funnels, how to write copy, do all this stuff. But at the end of the day, none of that stuff really matters if they can't get through the blocks that they're dealing with mentally. You're a guy, people listening to this, you're a guy that's made in a single month in the direct sales industry multiple six figures. Is that right?
Yeah, close to $250,000. Yeah.
Okay, so you're a guy that in 1 month in direct sales, that's probably like 0.5% of the world or less than that has ever done that. You're a guy that's made $250,000 in 1 month in the industry. Even now, and the fact that you did that, do you still doubt yourself? Do you still run into mental things that cause you? I mean, because everyone listening right now is saying, there's no way I could ever be like Mike Beal. There's no way I could ever do that. That guy must have like a rock solid brain. That guy must be just on a totally different level. He must not ever think that he's not worthy, that, that guy's just different. He's not like any of the rest of us.
Every day. I question myself every day. Right now, I'm nervous being on this Zoom with you guys, just to let you guys know that. But you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable with anything. Just start reversing that. If you're nervous and scared to do something, that's probably the thing you need to get to grow. Because the most dangerous thing is, what do they say? The most dangerous thing in life is your comfort zone. You're not going to grow. You're not going to know what you're capable of doing if you don't put yourself out there. Like if we go back to, you're so worried what other people are going to think. I'm going to tell you this, guys, and I don't want to hurt your feelings, but I'm going to tell you, people really don't give as much as you care about you as much as you think they do. Okay. It's only in your head. And I can tell you, once you get around that, the more you do, you're going to find your way, and you're going to get excited to put yourself in those uncomfortable positions, because that's where ultimately you grow. And that's not anything, that's not taught. I mean, that's common sense. Like when you're in this industry, always put yourself in that. But guys, I'm a simple country boy from Missouri. I live here at Lake of the Ozark, Missouri. I grew on, look, this is what I wear all the time. T-shirts, sweats. Like I don't like, I get dressed up and everything, but I'm like you, more like, if you guys honestly know, I'm probably more scared to do the stuff than, well, I think so, but you'll be very surprised that there's a lot of people out there that feel the same way. They just don't portray that when their videos and everything. I don't want to say they're faking it till they're making it, but this is where I want you guys to truly understand the vulnerability part. Let people know, like myself, I've made, a couple $1 million a year consistently in this space. And I doubt myself every single day. But then I go back to, making myself do the actions and I don't get complacent, guys. Either you're moving forward in the industry or you're moving backwards. There's no sitting still, okay? I want you guys to understand, either you're growing or you're dying. Don't sit still, because the time that you could have done something by sitting still, you could have been further ahead. But by you not doing something today, or creating content, or investing in yourself, reading or something, you've actually taken a step backwards in your business and your personal life and everything. So I challenge you guys to do something on a daily basis that's going to grow your personal mindset, to grow, who you are as a marketer, learn new skill sets, or whatever. Just challenge yourself on a daily and be consistent and disciplined on that. It doesn't have to be a lot. We say just get 1% better every day. Okay. Just be consistent, be disciplined on being consistent.
So how do you do it though, Mike? Because like I'm into NLP, so I can, we do stuff in NLP where we can change pictures in people's heads. And, we had a guy on in our coaching group, and we smashed one of his limiting beliefs with NLP, right? Mm-hmm. But then it's like people like you, people like Eric, hopefully people like me, and a lot of successful people, they just naturally, like you say, get out your comfort zone. Well, that's easy to say. What makes you get out your comfort zone then? What makes you do it?
I'm first of all, I'm really competitive. My kids and my family have a massive why. And I don't want to stick too long on this, because when I start talking about my kids, I don't know, it's an instant. Like I go teary-eyed. It takes me back to the whole family thing. I just don't want them to ever want everything. So I'll get uncomfortable so they can be happy. I don't know if that answers your question, but that's
no, it is your driving force. That's awesome.
It's definitely my driving force, and yeah, that's definitely.
They say have a why that makes you cry, and if you're not watching this on YouTube, you need to go and watch this on YouTube. Go ahead.
I was going to say, it seems like to me that it's just kind of naturally instilled in you because of what you saw growing up. So I'm sure that your mom at an early age, she didn't want to have to do those things, but she just did it. And your grandmother as well. So you just kind of you had that example around you with people that were like, hey, even as a kid, you probably knew, hey, this probably isn't really a comfortable situation for my grandmother or my mom, but they're just getting it. They're just getting up every day and doing it. So I'm sure there's a lot, people don't get that in this business. Like we have, like, they look at the money, they look at this other stuff. They don't realize, like, we go through problems, man. We let everyone else does. We have people go through divorces, people go through issues with family, people go through personal issues, people, they find themselves in dark places. Some of I have so many friends in this industry like you, Mike, that I have guys that I, would never share their story. It's personal, but guys that, that were on top of the world, man, making more money than people making an entire year at their jobs. And these guys were in the darkest places of their lives at those times. And, you know, and I'm looking at them like, man, how the hell are you even holding it together? How are you? I mean, I was so just blown away. And when you look at successful entrepreneurs or business owners or all these people out here, we kind of look at these people as like, they're not one of us, but they are. They're dealing with all the same shit we are. But they're continuing to figure out how to wake up and take action day in and day out amongst all those things. And that can only be from the mind, your personal, you know, from developing your mind. There's someone can motivate me and say, hey, Eric, I know you're going through this horrible thing in your life right now, but you're going to get through it, buddy. That's not, thank you, but that's not going to help me at all. It's
motivation is temporary. Motivation is temporary. You can go to all these events and all these clinics and all these seminars. You'll come out of there motivated, like higher than you've ever been, but it only lasts so long, right? So you got to find that driving force within you. You got to learn to lead yourself before you can lead anybody else, right? So, and you know, it's a daily lesson. It's a daily schooling, for sure. You know, did I want to get on this Zoom today all nervous and scared? No, but I know I feel good now because I feel excited being on here, kind of telling this story because it might help somebody. All that nerves and everything kind of went out of the way now because we're in the middle of doing this. But guys, it's just like when I was playing sports, and you can probably relate to this too, Eric. Like I got butterflies, and I've done that like day in and day out. It's what I trained for. I got the butterflies before the game. Like I was nervous to play the basketball game and the sports. But then once you start it and get in the trenches, it goes to the wayside. You know, you just kind of, you know, go through the process. So, yeah, I mean, that's, you know, I just get past that mindset of putting yourself out there. So there was a point I was going to make with this. It just totally slipped my mind. So maybe I'll come back to it.
We'll come back. How hard do you work, Mike? I think our audience would like to know a guy who makes like consistently 2 million a year in an industry that teaches you got all this freedom, and we have, but do you work hard, or are you like on autopilot now?
Oh gosh, it just depends. that could mean I should work less, I should say, just because it's been instilled in me for so long. When I was building my previous company to what it was, the management of the company, they always said, you know, with great success comes great responsibility. So it's not just, you know, we look for that financial freedom and that time freedom. But once you do get to a certain point where you have a massive organization, you have more responsibility. So I was working myself to just to be very honest and transparent. I was burning the candle at both ends. And go to Eric's point earlier, I was miserable. I had a nice place here in Missouri. I had a quarry. Eric, you were there. You know, nice place. Like I had all the I woke up unhappy. I had everything that I ever wanted, dreamed. And it just, I don't think I really took a time to take a step back and realize, hey, this is mine. I created this, and to accept it. I think I've been in that drive for so long that, you know, in the pursuit of getting it, I lost my way. Once I got everything, I didn't appreciate it, if that makes sense. I was looking for something to make me happy, finding that next sale or the next purchase around the corner was going to make me happy. And then since leaving the company, I downsized, sold the house, sold the car, sold the toys. I have a nice condo here at the Lake of the Ozark. And that whole cliche, less is more, absolutely. Less maintenance, less stuff. And it's so true for me, that is. Nothing wrong with having all the nice things and everything, but it freed me up mentally and what was right for me and everything. But yeah.
And that bodes the question. I mean, did you feel like as you started to, because I mean, Paul talks about this in NLP, you know, and, you know, our minds, or a lot of people, when they look at this industry, you know, we hear someone hears $250,000 a month, they can't even fathom that. There are people that hear $2,000 a month online and they can't fathom that. Right. Some people hear $500 and they go, that seems like, I don't think I can make $500 online. So how was that mentally, man, to go from like, because typically happens like that. You're doing pretty well. You've made some good money, but all of a sudden you're making like this ridiculous money every single month. Did you feel like, okay, now I'm one of these guys, when really you're not? You were never one of those guys that needed to showboat and do all that. But now I feel like I've got to, like, it's keeping up with the Joneses. So now I'm a number one, guy in the company, or number two, whatever. I need to have like the toys. I need to have these. I need to have. Did you feel the need to have to do all those things? But in doing all those things, you kind of were like, damn, man, this is like, I'm a simple guy. This is how I feel. This is, you know what I'm saying? Explain that a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. And it was kind of the surroundings of what it was like. Once you start making that, you kind of lose the essence of who you are and everything. And I felt that way with me, trying to like let people know, hey, I'm successful, having that stuff. But I think it goes back to not having this stuff when I was a kid, always dreaming about having those nice, because I'm a gearhead. I love cars. I love performance. I love, like, as you know, Eric, everything I have, I took and just upgraded a lot and everything like that. But having all that, like, you kind of get away from I don't want to say reality, but the surroundings that you're around. That's what kind of changed me. But to go back to what you're saying, making the 500 to the 200 or whatever, it's all relevant. Once you hit a certain level, your mind, you jump up to that, you grow with that. So making that first 1,000 a month on online, yes, that's awesome. That's actually more exciting than making the bigger money, because now you made that, you kind of instilled in your confidence, and as you grow, your mind kind of steps up and everything, you expect it. So it's no different making $10,000 a month or $200,000 a month. You still have to show up. You still have to do the work. It's just a longer process to get there. From my experience on building the organizations and everything, I just didn't get that overnight. I did the work day one. I just kept being consistent, and it gradually snowballed and accumulated and everything. And the residual effect of everybody just building got up to there. But when I was making that kind of money, I expected it, and it didn't seem abnormal. But when I go looking back at it now, I'm like, my gosh, that's a lot of darn money, and it seemed normal for me.
But the key there is, you said it snowballed. If you imagine you went from where you were day one when you started network marketing or affiliate marketing, and then you made $250,000 the next month, do you think you would have coped?
Oh gosh, I don't know how. Yeah, that would have been strange. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that would have been, yeah, for sure.
It's like we said about doing videos, because people don't want to go through the work, do they? They don't want to. They don't want to.
Like, guys, you have to build up your content, and that's how you grow. Like, you can make this money. Here's the thing: it's easiest to make the money. It's harder to maintain it, if that makes sense. If you don't have the following, and not so much the following, if you don't have the knowledge and growing and the schooling of understanding what goes into a business, by understanding about learning is doing, right? Every single day, you've got to do that, and it instills it in you and everything. And if you go from $0 to $200,000 a month in a week or a month, like, you're not going to maintain that. You don't know what you really did. You got lucky. That was really what happened and everything. So embrace the journey, embrace it, because that's where you learn. I look back on it. It wasn't where I got. It was in all those calls, all those meetings, the travelings, meeting new people. That's what I look back and love, because of, like, man, I did so much. I was more proud of myself. I was fulfilled in that aspect. All right. You're going to feel a lot better about yourself by actually doing the work. Do the work, and it makes you feel a lot better about yourself, your confidence, your fulfillment. And it wasn't like someone gave it to you. Does that make sense?
Perfect.
Yeah.
So Mike, getting to that level, you're not going to get to that level. You're not going to experience that kind of success without pushback, without some hating, some haters. So how, getting to that level, right? You've probably experienced it a little bit more than Paul and I have. I mean, we've certainly experienced our share. We've had our share. How do you deal with pushback? How have you dealt with haters? How have you dealt with that moving, along the journey?
I mean, you don't get ridiculed by people doing the same amount of work as you do, right? So the people that always complain, bitch, moan, and like what you're doing, your success, either they're jealous or they're not willing to put the work into it. Kind of like the crabs in a bucket. Like once you go out, everyone's in that small bucket or that bubble. You know, they want to keep you. Like I use our small town for example. Like once you do the work, you put your sacrifice, you're putting the work in, all of a sudden you start getting outside of that bucket, and the other people in the town want to pull you back in, or the haters pull you back in because they don't want to be exposed for not wanting to put themselves in that situation, to put themselves in a situation so they can succeed, right? You're willing to do the work. So once you get outside that bubble, all they can do is try to bring you down back to their level because they aren't willing to sacrifice and do the work to get them out of a situation that they're in. So I look at it and it's all part of the game. I love it because I understand where they're coming from. It's jealousy, and I know it's just a lack of their mindset and where they're coming from. And it doesn't bother me at all. It was a process at first because you do care what people think, but once you truly understand, I embrace that now because I know where they're coming from.
Was it Dan Kennedy? I think he said, if you haven't pissed somebody off by lunchtime, you're not doing enough.
You're not doing it right? Yeah. Yeah.
So Mike, let me ask you this. So we have this coaching community, and a lot of the people in the community are fairly new. They maybe been on a line a little bit, so they haven't really built a brand. They haven't really put a lot of content out there. A lot of them are still dealing with, worrying about what people think, not believing that they can create success for themselves. If you were one of those guys right now, you were coming in and, you were going to develop a plan for yourself to go out and start doing videos and promoting and all that. Knowing what you know now, what would be your daily mode of operation? How would you, let's say you're building a network marketing business, but what would be your daily mode of operation? And you're brand new. You don't have authority. You don't have, nobody knows who you are, what do you do?
First of all, I would, if they're in part of the coaching community, I'm sure you guys have them doing stuff, but take an action, guys. Get in the know. Just start doing something and get good at one thing, whether it's videos. Do that every single day. Challenge yourself every day to come up with content about yourself, the business, something around that area, and challenge yourself and get good at one area. Don't try to do multiple things. Because once, what they say, the guy that tries to chase two rabbits, catch none, or anything like that, get good in a certain area. Once you get that dialed in, then you can kind of span out. What I do, I surround myself. I know what I'm good at. I know what I'm not good at. I hate copy. That's why I always hit you up, Eric. I'm not, I don't want to say I'm not good at it because, words mean, have a lot. If you speak it into existence, that you're going to bring that. I hire and get people that's better in other areas than I am. And that allows me to stay focused on what I'm good at. So I don't try to get detoured and sidetracked off of things that is not going to help me in my daily method of operation, my income activities that I need to be doing on a daily basis. So I would say, whether it's videos, whether it's whatever, get good at one area, and just, constantly, and be disciplined on creating content around that, and start getting content out there. And then you'll only get better, guys. I'm just telling you. And you can see this all over. Like where I started, I look back and I cringe, but now that's allowed me to, be who I am now and learn that lesson in between. And you're going to thank yourself on that looking back, because you're going to learn the ins and outs and what is your method of operation. What works for me might not work for you. All right. As you're doing it, you're going to think of other ways, like, oh gosh, and you're going to find your way in the niche that you're in. I don't know if that answers the question, but that's what I would suggest getting started.
Well, it does. And the other thing I wanted to jump into that you talked about is obviously, we all are marketers. You've used the internet to bring leads to you that have turned into reps with your companies. You've sold tons of products through the online space. But we're talking direct sales here, because that's, you've done affiliate marketing and everything, been successful in different areas, but you've had huge success in direct sales, right? You're one of the top 1%, in the world, really, in the direct sales space. There's still an element of it behind the online stuff, which is extremely important, but there's still an element of building a relationship, connecting with and working with your leaders. So how does that, and I know that that's an area that people don't know that you're really, really good at, because you're just doing it. But I know, knowing you all these years, because people are like, yeah, he does the online stuff and he's really good with the online stuff. And I'm going, yeah, but you don't get it. Like, this guy behind the scenes is on the phone. Because I used to talk to you like, dude, I'm like exhausted. I've been on like 25 calls today. I'm talking to people all day long. So help them understand. And when I hear that, I'm like, yeah, this dude has all this online marketing in place. This dude's getting leads right and left. What do you mean you're on the phone all the time? You know what I mean? So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, and I'll start at the beginning. Like when you're, like, if you're new to the industry, obviously you need a sales process that's going to educate your audience of what you do. Because if you're not truly confident on it, you don't want to mess it up, because we are our own worst enemy, because we try to overtalk the product or try to convince somebody on what it is. You don't present it right, you're going to lose the sale. So if you have the right sales process, and this, Eric, we've been over this a lot, that's going to, like you guys that's listening, if you have a sales funnel, that's going to do the presenting for you so you don't mess it up. That's going to really allow you to scale your business a lot more. First of all, you're going to have a lot of leads that's going to come in, understand the business correctly and properly. And then by the time that they get off, when you follow up with them, they already understand what it is. And you don't have to, it frees you up where you don't mess it up for yourself, right? And then you can answer the questions that come up and play from them watching the sales funnel. So it makes your job a lot easier when you're following up and answering the questions, the objections that you have, and you're not going into it cold and trying to convince them. Because the last thing that I want to do is try to convince somebody. And let's face it, an online sales funnel, if you're yourself and you're trying to do the presentation, you can only do so many on a daily basis, but if you have a sales funnel out there, you can have thousands of people coming through your process on a daily basis, right? And then the only people that it spits out are the people that's raising their hand that deserves your time and everything. And it gets back to, they already understand what it is, and it makes your job easier following up with them. And that's my process and everything. If I don't want to waste my time with people that are fence sitters, that are just curious, and that are just, I can see that the more you do it, guys, you'll understand that people, when you get on the phone with them, the caliber of the kind of questions they are, and just kind of stuff that they ask you, and you'll know if it's going to be a time waster or not, and all that stuff. Obviously, you want to help them, but at the end of the day, it is a business and all that stuff. So you'll start sorting and sifting through the right people of the people that raise their hand, if that makes sense.
Perfect. Best source of leads? People will ask, what's best source of ads for you?
Facebook ads, and yeah, Facebook. I mean, for me, Facebook and because I do a lot of video marketing and everything, because I just kind of talk about, I just be very vulnerable on the video. That's my strength, and that's what I focus on. And I just double down on that, and then it's scale. So what we do, we find an ad that works, and we create multiple variants of it, and then which one works the best, and then we take that, scale it, and create other ones, and kind of constantly split testing on it and all that stuff. But I do, there's so many different ways that you can, with solo ads, AdWords, direct response, whatever you want to do. But mine is, Facebook for sure. I know you do TikTok stuff now, but I still think what works for me.
I don't. But that's cool to know, because when you say you're vulnerable, I've seen your videos, you're just yourself. You're just not vulnerable, you yourself. It's, people need to be. It doesn't matter if you're new.
Sorry to interrupt you. Yeah, it's crazy when I do a video, and I do get emotional in videos when I talk. And that's my key to you guys. Be yourself. And a lot of people hit me up after, it's like, man, that takes a lot of strength to, you're a man, you cried on, no, that's just who I am. It's not weakness, that's your strength and all that stuff. So guys, just be yourself. All right. Don't try to be hype. Like, how do I put this? Don't be hypey or try not to pitch a wrong message. People are smart. They can feel it. If you're very authentic in your message and truly come across what you're trying to get across, they know, they feel it, and the energy comes off correctly. And then, because, you'll attract the right people. I'll just leave it there.
Cool.
So Mike, we have we have medics, and we have firefighters, and we have nurses, and we have all these different types of people, and they just, they look at the profession they're in and they just think, I'm not an online marketer, I'm not one of these big network marketers and all that. They just, this is something that they're dealing with. I mean, you were on a construction site, so you were on your knees, laying tile, and you were, I mean, 60, 80 hours a week on pipelines, you know what I mean? To being from that to being on stages, being recognized as one of the top recruiters on the planet. I mean,
let me put it this way. Okay, for all those doctors, the nurses, and teachers, where'd they start? They went to school to become a teacher. Like I went to school to become an online. I started doing video. I started investing in myself. You just, you have to start somewhere. When they say I'm not that, did they say that before they become a doctor or a nurse? No, I'm not a nurse. Well, not yet, because you haven't went to school or started implementing yourself. So you have to start so you can understand the process. And once you do, it becomes fun, and you just kind of learn and go through the courses like you did becoming, into the profession that you're in.
Cool.
Right?
Perfect.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Did you guys experience this? I know I did. When I just same thing. I just started doing what I was told to do. I started implementing what I was told and take action. And then one day people start telling you, man, you're this great marketer. And you're thinking, am I a marketer? I'm a marketer. I'm a, like you're this really talented marketer. And I'm thinking, I am? I'm like, really?
And,
so
and then you get imposter syndrome, don't you? Because you go, what, me? No, they don't know. If only they knew. I'm blagging this, totally blagging this all the way. Yeah,
exactly. Like, so that's always blown my mind when people are trying to put the cart before the horse. They're trying to propel themselves in a position of, I'm this, I'm not this guy up here. I'm never going to be that guy. And it's like, I'm not even thinking about that guy. I'm thinking about, hey, like you said, what can I learn today? I want to do this. I want to grow my business. I just want to take action. And I think Ray Higdon talks about that, fall more in love with the activity than the actual result.
Yep.
And I mean, you just are going to wake up one day and you're going to wonder, like, how the hell did that just happen? Because you've been so consumed on just taking action and putting in the work. And then one day you wake up and you're rewarded for that. And you're in a position where you're like, wow, okay, so how the hell did I get here?
A lot of people just don't take action, and they give up too quickly, and everything. I mean, it kind of goes back to, let's use the nurse, for example. If you went to the first semester of college and you gave up, you're not going to become a nurse, right? So just stay consistent and keep learning and everything. And that's with anything, right? So, I mean, it's that simple. You just got to take action and get in the trenches.
So
right.
From where you are now, from your level of success, I know you do a lot of interviews and you get to speak at a lot of events and stuff like that. Is there a question you wish people would ask you? Because people, I'm sure, ask all the same. Where do you get your leads and what sales funnel do you use? Is there a question that you wish people would ask you? This is your chance.
Oh gosh, I don't know, because I get asked a lot.
Maybe there isn't. Maybe we've asked it because me and Eric are so good already. But
man, I don't know. I just want people to understand, guys. It's all about you, and it's all about your decision. Do you want to change the situation you're in? Like, what are you wanting? Find something that you're passionate about. Once you find something you're passionate about, double down on that and learn how to, put it out there, and go through the courses that you guys teach. Find a specific marketing technique that you're good at, and then, double down on that, guys, and learn every single day on your niche. But a question that I don't know, I'll get back with you. Maybe you can tell it to your audience and everything. But
if there isn't, it's cool. It's just, I know sometimes I've spoken to people go, yeah, people never ask me about this, or, so it's worth asking. But like I say, me and Eric, consummate professionals, aren't we? So we probably already asked them.
Put me on a spot. Link. So,
No, that's coming. Putting you on the spot's coming.
yeah.
Hey, I'm going to tell you, and we won't talk about the company or whatever. People that know you, Mike, will know. But you know, this is another thing that you know, sometimes, you know, when you don't get out of your comfort zone, it can hurt you, right? So, you know, I remember being with a friend of ours, Ray. It was me, Mike, and Ray, and we were sitting in I believe it was an Italian restaurant. We were sitting there, and Mike was telling us about this company. It was in Utah. Mike was telling us about for another deal, but Mike was telling us about a different deal that he was going to do. And this deal was, you know, where you had created the most success you've had in direct sales. And you were telling us about this. And I was so consumed at that time with how I had convinced myself that direct sales was not something I wanted to do. I had failed in it previously. I had all these limiting beliefs that I would even be successful with it. I had had success in direct or in affiliate marketing. And that's where I felt like, okay, even though I loved network marketing, I always have, I started doing it in my early 20s and failed, but I loved it. I loved, like you said, I loved the leaders. I loved the community. I just loved going, even when I wasn't making any money. I used to go to the meetings just to hang out and be around those people, because I'm like, I'll never forget Excel Communications. I used to go to this guy's little office he had. One day he pulled up in this new truck, and he goes, Eric, he goes, you like that truck? I said, yeah, man. He goes, I just paid, you know, $17,000 cash for it. And I was like, holy shit. Now, I'm a young kid. I'm like, this isn't even real, man. And he was, you know, he was making about 35 grand a month in Excel, which could have been $50 million a month to me. Cause I'm like, who the hell makes that kind of money? You know?
Well, shoot, that was back in the early 90s too, wasn't it? Mid 90s.
Yeah, that was the early 90s. And so I'm sitting there, and I had all these limiting beliefs, and I chose not to jump in that with you. And, you know, that was before it even got kicked off. So even if I would have put a little bit of time and effort into that with you in those early days, I may have been sitting on a, you know, $1 million business.
You won't be talking to me now, would you, Eric?
No, I mean, I'd be gone, man. I'd be out of here, man. But it just goes to show that I had limiting, and I had some success at that time, but I had limiting beliefs, and you know, I didn't take advantage, and I didn't jump on opportunity that presented myself. And I think a lot of people are sitting in that place right now, and you know, they're thinking, you know, why should I take action? Why should I do this video every single day? Or I've been doing videos for a month now, Mike, like you told me, every single day, and I haven't had success yet. You know, why should I keep going? You know what I mean? You know, at what point, what would you suggest this is what we say, if you're getting to the point where you're ready to quit, you're not willing to take action anymore. You know, you got to be willing to stop looking at the outside world and start looking internally, because it's an inside issue. It's not an outside issue. So,
well,
you know, what would you say?
I think it gets back to the whole discipline part. You know, how bad do you want it? Like I said, that breakthrough, you don't know when that breakthrough is going to be, for sure. If we had a crystal ball, we'd say, hey, it takes 30 days to do this, you know, and then you're going to have success, or 60 days, 90 days. Everyone's going to be different. Everyone's going to be different. Depends on how serious you take the actions that you're taking, and, you know, what is your why and why you're doing what you're doing. So, you know, be consistent, be disciplined with it. And when the time is right, it will happen. I mean, there's no magic answer to that, Eric. I don't know. You can't put a time frame on when you're going to start seeing success, and everything. And kind of like it gets back to that picture of the pick, or the gold miner. You see that where the guy hits the gold, the guy just keeps going. It could be the next video, the next 5 videos, and you're going to start seeing success, or whatever you're doing. Just one more swing of that axe, you hit gold. You know, you just don't know, because it's not in front of you, right? Just stay consistent, stay disciplined, and keep growing yourself. At the end of the day, you're building your character, and you're building a discipline inside yourself, as well, and not letting yourself down. Because at the end of the day, the last thing you want to do is let yourself down by quitting. Okay, so just stay true to who you are, your mission, what you're wanting to get out of it, and why you're doing what you're doing. I know it's a very broad answer, but it's true. Like, why are you doing what you're doing? You know, what are you wanting to get out of it? So, and just don't let yourself down.
Cool. We're coming up on an hour. So like we say, we're respectful of Mike's time. Eric, is there anything else you want to?
Last question.
Okay.
Best experience in the industry throughout your entire career. If you can pinpoint a moment where you're maybe it wasn't on stage at 200 grand, you know, a month. Maybe it was you made your first $300.
Yeah. It's not even. It's for me. It wasn't really my success. It was after I learned stuff and being in the trenches with other people, hearing their stories, hearing them call me up. It's not just one moment. It's a multitude of a collaboration of a lot. It's just seeing other people grow and being a part of that. I had a part of that. That's what gets me, and that's what fulfills me, knowing that I had a part in changing somebody's life and everything. But yeah, I think about all those culmination of all that. The first 100%. It's not so much how good you feel when you change your life, but when you change other people's lives, you can times that by 100. That's what I love, and why I love what I do.
And Mike, we can't talk about this. We're going to close it out, but you know, we can't get into detail, but you're getting ready to take another huge leap, and you're taking another huge risk, something that you haven't done. And again, I know you can't talk about it or go into detail right now, but for people that may be listening and following Mike, please continue to follow him, or as soon as Paul and I are able to kind of share more, we will. But
we'll put a link in the show notes, guys. So if there isn't a link, come back, and there will be a link eventually.
But you're about to take on a whole new ride that you haven't ridden before in this industry, and yeah, how you feeling about it, man? You're probably nervous, anxious, and all that at the same time.
All the nerves, but excited and nervous all at the same time, but mainly excited because I have a say in this, and I know the heartbeat of what makes a company, and it's the reps and everything. And what we want to do is change, kind of change the status quo on a few things. I'm going to try to keep it very quiet, but I'm in control of what I want to create for people, and ultimately it's not an ego-driven thing. It's you know, I want to change people's lives. And I want to get rid of the greed and the nonsense that happens in this industry from the ownership down. So I'll leave it at that. But I can tell you this, that I've been waiting my whole career for something like this. I'll leave it at that.
Good times.
Well, good times. Well, like I said, guys, if you've listened to this all the way through, we'll keep everybody updated, probably, and release more information on that in the next month or two. But or when Mike says it's okay. But Mike, it's been awesome to have you on, man. I know you've helped a lot of people. I know you've encouraged a lot of people. You know, Paul and I work with so many people every single day that struggle to believe that they can get to the next level. And I think just hearing your story, I think they're probably blown away. But you know, his story is amazing. But you know, a lot of people who have had great success in this industry have similar stories. They just had to break through and decided to be consistent, and you know, and woke up one day and they're at the top of the ladder. So they just kept climbing.
Yeah, guys, I'm like a 15-year overnight success.
That's often the way.
Exactly. Well, we appreciate you, Mike.
Quick fire round, Mike. Fast as you can. One, work or play?
Both.
Both. No, you're not. You're breaking the rules.
Okay.
Summer or winter?
So what's the second question?
Summer or winter?
So summer.
Shower at night or in the morning?
In the morning. Cold shower in the morning.
Salty or sweet?
Oh God, that's a tough one. Oh gosh, probably sweet, because I love ice cream, which I know I shouldn't eat. That's my kryptonite.
That's his Achilles heel, guys. We got him. Street smart or book smart?
Street smart.
Cautious or bold?
Cautious or bold? Oh, bold.
A night in or a night out?
Night in now. The older I get.
How old are you now?
47.
Cats or dogs?
Dogs.
If you could time travel, past or future?
Oh, pass.
And money or happiness?
Happiness all the way.
I think that's a good time to close it out. We appreciate it, sir. Thank you very much for coming on and sharing those nuggets with people. I know a lot of people can get a lot of value out of this. So thank you very much from me. I'll let you say goodbye, Eric.
Mike, you're the man. Always have been, always will be. We appreciate you, man.
Thank you, guys.
Take care.